to grow our economy and enable us to give every Fijian a better deal. You will have heard me talking about growing the national cake so that everyone can get a bigger slice. It's a simple way of explaining to ordinary people how a free market economy works. And we have a wonderful story to tell, because that cake is growing all the time, thanks in large part to our exporters and the teamwork you have encouraged in your own workplaces. As you know, last year, our economy grew by 5.3%, eclipsing the performance of our bigger neighbors. We didn't do it by having conflict in the workplace. We did it by working together. So I appeal to those in the union movement to work with us rather than against us, as we strive to improve the standard of living for every Fijian. I want to explain my own perspective on the current matter before the International Labour Organization, the ILO. We are a small and vulnerable nation that needs to protect certain vital activities carrying the lifeblood of our economy. We are not a developed nation that can afford the luxury of our essential industries and services being disrupted. And whether it is our ports, our airports, or our national airline, all these things must be kept open at all times for the benefit of every Fijian. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we simply cannot allow a relatively small group of people to hold the nation to ransom by misrepresenting us and our circumstances to the rest of the world and disrupting our industries and services. Some union leaders are going to the ILO claiming that this is a restriction on workers' rights. But this is simply not the case. Employees under the amended provisions have the right to choose to join the union or not, whether they are in essential industries or not. Employees in all sectors have the right to collective bargaining. Employees in these sectors, like others, have the right to have their union dues deducted from their check-off system. The only difference is that those in essential services need to give notice if they want to go on strike. And the notice period we have agreed to will be reduced to 14 days from 28. We have even created a tripartite tribunal that can quickly dispose of matters of disagreements arising out of these essential services and sectors. But in pursuing these rights, unions and unionists have no right to damage the jobs of other workers and damage the Fijian economy. The government has a wider responsibility, and that is to the nation as a whole. And that responsibility is to keep Fiji moving, to make sure our arteries aren't blocked. I ask you to imagine a situation where no notice is required from those in the essential services. A situation in which the pilots of Fiji Airways might go on strike 5 minutes before a flight is to take off from LA or about to leave for Singapore. What would it do to the image of the country? What would it do to the confidence in our transportation system? What would it do to the economy? Would you have confidence in transporting your exports on Fiji Airways? What would it do to the tourism industry? I don't need to go into details of how and who would be affected by such a situation. Apart from saying that it would have a catastrophic impact on our economy and on the jobs and lives of ordinary Fijians, the whole nation would suffer. The central ethos of my government isn't to erode the rights of ordinary Fijians. It is to empower them. It is to give them choices. And whether it is our education revolution or the provision of basic services to every Fijian, whoever they are or wherever they live. And that is what we are doing. And we are happy to be judged on our record. We want to work with the workers and even organizations they may form or join, just as we are working with the employees to advance the position of everyone. But that focus must not be driven by personal or narrow sectional interests. we must deal with this in a holistic manner. We must focus on the need to advance Fiji and all Fijians. For example, we cannot have unionists going around asking employers to deduct union dues without the workers giving their consent.